I've stopped talking Westbrook. Baker Mayfield, I tried to support at the end of the year.
You got bullied into no longer talking Westbrook?
Well, and I just don't think he's as relevant, and I think I was right.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm piling on. Once I'm right, I don't want to pile on. Baker Mayfield, I was right. He's not a number one quarterback. He's not a number one pick. He's a quarterback, but he's not a number one pick.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily totally compare Baker and Westbrook.
No. They're separate cases.
Because it's never been about Westbrook's personality away from the sport.
No, he's a gamer, but he's just.
Yeah.
I think I was the first guy to say I don't buy any of this Westbrook stuff. You can't win games in the playoffs if you're 6'3" and can't shoot.
Yeah, with Westbrook, it was completely about his game. With Baker, it was a little personality stuff.
And by the way, I'm right on that because the organization has not jumped to re-sign him. Baltimore's going to re-sign Lamar. Buffalo's going to re-sign Josh. Cleveland's waiting. And they acknowledged the maturity thing was an issue. I was right on that. It hasn't helped him. And then there's Aaron Rodgers. That's the third guy I'm always picking on. And, it's interesting. 12 quarterbacks have lost. One turned it into a soap opera. I've never disliked Aaron. Aaron hates me. I'm good with that. What I've said about Aaron, I like him better than Favre. I like him better than Bart Starr. He's the best Packer quarterback ever. First ballot Hall of Famer, gold jacket, highly intelligent. He's a lot of work. He's a lot of work. That's now been documented by even family members. He's a lot of work. But it's interesting because one of his buddies is going to be on last hour, Mike Silver, a friend of mine, NFL columnist, very smart. He went to Cal. Aaron went to Cal. They're buddies. They talk all the time. And there's nothing wrong with that. Mike's got a lot of great contacts. But he wrote an article this morning. Mike Silver did. I'm going to have him on later and press him because I'm a journalist. I'll press him. It says here, when Aaron spoke after the game, I believe he delivered a message to his bosses, one that roughly translates thusly. Your way of doing business here in Green Bay has to change, or maybe I'm on my way. When GM Brian Gutekunst traded up in the first round to get a quarterback, Jordan Love, Rodgers did more than notice. He wasn't thrilled. He says the GM left some potential impact players on the board when he made a move for Love. He says, as the Bucs celebrated their win over the Packers at Lambeau, how could Rodgers not have pondered the disparity between the two organizations' respective approaches? When Brady got signed, they went out and got Leonard Fournette, and they went and got Gronk, and they went and got Antonio Brown. Talented veteran players. Very good point. Green Bay, by contrast, went in a different direction. Basically a direction that said, we do things our way, and we're already looking past this era. So let me address this first thing. Find me the player the Packers could have drafted that would have made a difference Sunday. So the best player drafted after Jordan Love was Patrick Queen, the linebacker for LSU. Dog, that wasn't a problem Sunday. The Packers linebackers are fine. Patrick Queen would have played. He would have been in the rotation. But Green Bay's linebackers are good. Their linebackers are good. What about a corner? There was not a great corner taken after Jordan Love. Cowboys got a young kid they like. He's not a star. He could make mistakes too. Green Bay's problem Sunday was from the 10-yard line in, they were 2 for 9 passing. Green Bay's problem was in the second half, they got 3 picks. It wasn't their defense. On 2 of them, they were 3 and out. Aaron doesn't throw to rookie wide receivers. So let's say they draft a wide receiver. You think he would have looked at him more than Devontae Adams? Aaron's a trust guy. He doesn't trust you. Even Devontae Adams is a rookie. He won't throw to you. He won't throw to you. So tell me, offensive lineman, none available better than any the Packers have. Find me who they could have drafted that helped him. Now, the structure of the argument, to contextualize the argument and said, it did send a message I don't like. That's fair. That is fair. And listen, Patrick Queen would have been great in the organization. He's a good player. But Sunday was about a couple of things. Tampa Bay owned the first quarter. Okay, teams that lead after the first quarter in the playoffs win like 65% of their games. Tampa Bay also had the play of the game. Scotty Miller-Brady, last play of the half. Green Bay also made several key mistakes last. 12 men on the field. Coaching, arguable gaffe. Defensive holding, double clutch holding by a defensive back. So the better team won. I'm not saying the better quarterback won because I think Aaron outplayed Brady for the second half. Tom outplayed Aaron for the first half. But I ask you in this article, who could have been drafted? Now, the messaging may have ticked off Aaron Rodgers. That I get. But there's nobody in the draft that was going to beat Tampa. We had no preseason. We had no OTAs. With Aaron's structure of that offense, I doubt a rookie would have even been looked at as a receiver or tight end. Green Bay has a number one receiver. Green Bay has a great tight end. Green Bay has great running backs. Green Bay has a great offensive line. The problem Sunday was their defense got 3 picks, and the offense didn't do anything. Brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. LeVar Arrington now joining us, former Pro Bowler, Fox Sports analyst. Listen, I understand players like Aaron Rodgers being mad after losses. Like, I get it. I totally get it. But when he goes out and talks about my future, LeVar, it's kind of a mess now the Packers have to clean up, is it not?
That could be a tad bit overstated. I think that was a big moment for Aaron Rodgers. We all know that it was a big moment for Aaron Rodgers. We talk about him being in the conversation of being one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Tom Brady is with a new team, a new season, a COVID season, Colin, and still goes into Lambeau Field on NFC Championship Sunday and wins. So to me, I think that whatever reaction, the fallout from that game is really an emotional moment for Aaron Rodgers. And as great a competitor as he has been throughout the course of his career, I don't have a hard feeling about it, and I'm not overreacting to what his reaction to it was. You could see when he greeted Tom Brady after the game on the field, the frustration and the disappointment and the letdown and the air out of the balloon had already taken place at that moment. So whatever came after that, it was probably just pure disappointment in what he's feeling right now.
Were you surprised Brady went to Lambeau and won?
Yes, I was. I had Green Bay beating them. It looked as though Green Bay could have, should have, only hand grenades and horseshoes, but could have, would have, should have won the game in a couple different moments that took place. But that's what you love to see when you see two of the greatest ever going back and forth against one another. There was a moment in time, that moment where they showed Aaron Rodgers on the sideline telling the guys, don't give up a touchdown. Don't give up. Just get me back on the field is what it seemed like the tone of the conversation was. And the defense did get them back on the field, and the offense stalled out for a couple drives. And I thought that was the difference in the game.
I've always believed if you have a great defense and it comes down to the last 2 minutes, put the game in their hands. If you've got a great quarterback, put the game in his hands. Aaron's a great quarterback, and Matt LaFleur.
I don't understand the decision, bro.
You didn't like the decision?
If you're about no, it's the NFC Championship. You lost in the NFC Championship the year before. Why not go for it? Nobody's going to have hard feelings. If anything, the bigger question is why kick that field goal in that moment? Why do it? 2 minutes left. Tom Brady, LaFleur, that would look at Aaron. Look, Aaron's like, dude, like, what are you doing, bro? I'm Aaron Rodgers. That's Tom Brady. You do know that's Tom Brady on the other side, coach. Let's go for it.
By the way,
let's go for it. You took the game out of my hands in the biggest moment of the game. One of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting when there's all this talk about Aaron leaving. Could I not argue Green Bay's perfect for Aaron? First of all, Packers don't have an owner. Aaron's king. It's a small market, easy media. Aaron can be bristly to criticism. He's got a number one receiver, good offensive lines. It's a young, progressive coach. When I hear about this, Aaron wants out. Okay, go to Boston with that media, try to replace Brady. Go to the Indianapolis Colts, who don't have a number one receiver, and face Mahomes in the AFC. Go to San Francisco, where Kyle Shanahan is going to have much greater control than any coach of your life. The argument that Green Bay is not a good fit, I would argue, go to a city that's got better fans than Lambeau and a better home field advantage than Lambeau. I think Aaron is Lambeau. I mean, I think it works for him, don't you?
Colin, you missed one other point to add to that list. If he leaves, think about the pressure that top-notch quarterbacks are going to have going to a different franchise from here on out. Tom Brady has created a whole entirely different standard of how you're going to be judged. Joe Montana couldn't even do that when he went to Kansas City, right? Did pretty well. Brett Favre couldn't even do it when he left. Did pretty well. Guys have left and done pretty well, but Tom Brady has created an entirely different standard and expectation of what happens if you leave and go to a different team. So I think Aaron Rodgers has done so much in Green Bay. And to leave at this moment, it would be purely a decision that he has to live with and feel confident about. But again, if you have the familiarity of what you've created and what you've built as one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play, not only in the game but for that franchise, I think that's a hard proposition to say you want to go somewhere else, and then where's that somewhere else